Welcome back, everybody, to the Gears Challengers Series Split 2, Phase 1, Week 2. I'm Taylor Reflections Double, joined by Colin and Crow Clark. We're now heading into the bottom side of the bracket, our second semifinal match of the day. Carnage Gaming faces off against Marz. It's going to be a fun one, and two rosters that I'm excited to watch. Again, Carnage Gaming, first time we're going to have a chance to watch them throughout Split 2. For Marz, though, we've seen this roster for ALRM. Again, now there's no Lanarchy. Zoom is in place of him, and I'm curious to see how that's going to pay off, because losing Lanarchy, that's a big loss. But we'll take a look at them, man. We got Morality, Abolics, Rocky, and Zoom.
Well, look, even if you lose a guy like Abolics, I have a lot of faith in both Rocky. Even if you lose a guy like Lanarchy, I have a lot of faith in Abolics and Rocky. Both of those guys have been in Pro League. Both of those guys have played at some of the highest caliber tiers before. I mean, it wasn't too long ago that a guy named Rocky was on a Vanquish squad that made one possible team change or two possible team changes before winning a world championship. So I want to say right here, right now, that Rocky, Abolics, they're going to have to carry this team. They're going to have to be the IGL. One of the things that they're going to have to do, though, going forward is teach their little Marz character skin to hold the Nasher in the right direction, because right now, it looks like he's not too happy with himself, and I think he should talk to somebody. Taylor, he knows my number's always open. He knows my number's always there. I'd rather listen to him right now than not be able to talk to him tomorrow. So just Marz, I'm here, baby. I'm here. It's all love.
Look, I'm about to be that. I'm kind of that Marz guy right now, holding Nasher backwards personally, because I just realized ALRM was the first letter of that of each team member. I had no idea. I had no clue that's what ALRM stood for. I really didn't. And I just figured it out looking at that Marz logo. For some reason, it just clicked. So weird. Hey, but sometimes we miss some. You lose some, you win some. It is what it is. Let's talk about Carnage, man. Get off that soap opera. Cristalize, BGod, Autens, and Solar. Hey, this is a roster I want to see, man. Again, they haven't been having much success recently, but why not start now? It is what it is. It's time to clean up your act. But Carnage played really well in Split 1, man. And of course, the roster is much different now, but those are some big shoes to fill.
Much is a bit of an understatement from you, brother, because if you don't remember, for all of you that haven't been keeping up with it, Carnage actually, they lost their spot because they imploded. Not because they didn't perform well enough, because nobody could tell me last split that Carnage didn't perform well enough. They overperformed by a lot of people's expectations coming into that last split. So this is a much different look for Carnage Gaming, but it has some of the parts that we've seen before. Once again, I really like to look at our veterans to kind of take those standout roles, become those leaders. So Autens, BGod, Cristalize, you boys need to put on a show and start showing everybody that Carnage Gaming is not just here to play, they're here to stay.
Hey, that's a good way to put it, right? Starts now. Let's see if they do make grand finals. I'm curious because, again, Marz, those 3 out of the 4 members, minus Lanarchy from ABLRM. This roster just about made Pro League, right? They were just about a pro team before Remedy was able to beat them in that map number 3. And I remember Rocky being very, very upset that they did not make it. And shout out to him for continually competing. I know at one point he was even thinking about maybe retiring and just getting out of the scene, but I'm glad he's still here. Keep that head up, man, because he's a talented player. Expect him to do well tonight. Let's take a look at our pick and ban. See the maps we're rolling with. I can't speak much for Carnage Gaming, right? I haven't seen this roster play too much as of recently, but I guess I can go back to the old ALRM days. Foundation, Asylum Harbor with some maps that we witnessed before. Won't see any of them. Won't see Harbor for Tiebreaker, but we got Vasgar, District, and Harbor. You know the players. Speaking of the players, how do you think they'll fare off on these maps?
I really love how Vasgar is the very first map that Carnage picked. They said, look, we're still trying to figure out a lot of things with this squad. We've still been put together pretty recently. So let's go to a map where we know we can actually get the fights that we want on. Auten, BGod's Cristalize. What are they kind of specializing at coming from that LATAM scene? What's Carnage Gaming kind of always been known for? It is the fact that they're able to wolfpack, shotgun for one another, and team revive. So they pick a map in Vasgar where they can literally just completely get around the map as fast as they can and try to take whichever fight they so wish. Solars is just going to make that team that much more dangerous on Vasgar. The thing that stands out to me is that they had a chance to pick Training Grounds over Harbor, and I would have thought that Cristalize, with the way he used to play training grounds, where he used to be able to go from that Heaven, especially not having a second player over there, being able to take a 1v1. I expect to see Heaven and Cristalize become a lot bigger of a factor, but they end up going with Harbor, so they must have something in the bag for that. That's what I need to see. I'm not necessarily saying I want to see a map 3 between these two teams, because I want to see somebody be dominant going into grand finals, but if we get there, it's just going to let me have a little more intel next week.
Well, and that's what it's all about, right? Having this extra intel. I know that's why you enjoy casting over the Challenges series, right? Getting that little added intel in case, one of these teams, which, of course, one of them might make the Pro League after all through relegation. So we'll see if that intel does pay off in the future. I'm excited to see how this is going to work out. Like you said, Vasgar being the first one, it's going to be a lot of fun. Vasgar is just a map that's just high intensity, constant rotations, constant fights, and we'll really see what these two teams are made out of. I want to see Zoom, though. Again, filling Lanarchy shoes. You mentioned, you have a lot of faith in the other veterans, But for me, man, Zoom that's some big shoes to fill from Lanarchy. So I expect him, honeymoon phase on stream. First time, at least for myself, casting over him. I want to see if he plays well, because typically first time on stream, like first time on main stage, man, they pop off. But, well, he's going to get Lancered out. It is what it is. Look, tough spot for him to be in.
It's going to be a tough spot for anybody to try to come back on. Rocky here is going to be full ready. He's got 2 to worry about. He tries to head down. I'm not sure if he was going to go for the up A. Maybe just try to sneak up Morality. Dies on the opposite side of the map. So now we're going to see pressure and a triple cap domination being threatened. And I mean, the way that those deaths came out one after the next within about a 5-second spawn area, or 5-second area, that leads to a very quick round number 1.
Uh-oh. Well, you did say you wanted to see a dominant win. I hope that's not the first indication of a dominant win, but we'll definitely find out. Carnage Gaming starts off hot, 39 seconds, not bad at all. We need to see a little bit more from Marz, of course, but again, I go back to Zoom being added. I'm very curious when he was added on this roster, how much practice this roster has. You have the core 3 that's there of Rocky, Abolics, and Morality, but again, you added one additional player. And it can be tough. I say that they're all 0-0, so no one's having a good game so far. 39 seconds, you can't do much. Let's see how round 2 goes.
Hey, look, sometimes you can't stat pad, okay? The only stat you should be padding every single round is the win column, okay? That's how I want teams to start playing it anyway. Now we see the quick push out from Carnage over to the home mill of Marz. Marz now has 3 people here against the 3 people of Carnage. Flashes out. Rocky's kind of stuck. He catches the first one. Autens goes to the up A. And Rocky says, hey, look, I know that update for Operation 6 hadn't come out, but you can still hold this Snatcher right here and right now, because, I mean, they talked about it. Tomorrow might be a different day for the up A. We're going to have to see how that plays out later down the road. The Morality chasing against BGod. BGod scurrying away. Collector's Skin Mira, by the way, that beautiful 40,000 coins in the store, all white with the gold fleck, absolutely stunting on them, baby.
Oh, I love the skin. I do. I think we saw it in Pro League one time. Who was rocking? Do you remember who was rocking it in Pro League? I believe it was one of the players from E United. Was it Kenny?
Kenny has always been female characters, and he's always played Mira when he plays Swarm. So yes,
all right.
It was Kenny.
So, hey, beautiful skin, man. Got to grind for it. Autens picks up the kill down low onto Rocky. He's going to be traded out by Dakota. It's going to be Abolics there. Solar, though, is going to be up top trying to get that finish. He can't get it, but there's really nobody from Marz to pick him up, so it's going to be okay. And they'll just let him bleed out if he can. Big battles, though, taking place. Bravo's going to be locked in from player number 8. It's going to be Solar. Zoom up close and personal with his teammates, trying to take down those players from CG on the baby steps, and they'll successfully push them back. Great lead for Marz. Carnage Gaming struggling to find a foothold in round number 2.
Right now, Carnage, they just have to find a Wolfpack push. It's what won them round number 1. It's what's gonna win them round number 2. Rocky down here in a 1v1. He's trying to hold this player down. He gets a little bit of choke damage, but here comes the second player rotating over. And now Rocky has to get out of there. He can't hold his spot anymore. Morality Zoom up top. They don't get any shots on Autens. That's a beautiful job. That's what I was talking about. Finding the extra player to rotate into the fight, be able to 2v1, find the weak spot, and there it goes. Ooh, Carnage Gaming is off to the races. They're going to be able to threaten a triple cap domination once again with 3 quick deaths, except I believe Dakota might be able to get over there. Oh no, the touch comes through for Rocky, and Dakota is going to get the B-Hill decap, so the round is going to prolong itself, but pressure will be on Marz to play some defense, because it's going to be a full minute before this round ends.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. CG, still a lot of work to be done. They've got to get that break on Bravo. Notice Marz still has that win condition. So all they need to do is hold down B. But Vasgar, it's tough to kind of lock down all angles, especially with that mid transfer point. So you don't want anybody slipping through the cracks. But it starts here for Carnage Gaming. Man, Dakota, Abolics holding his own, though. Takes down Cristalize, meat shield in hand for a second. Takes down Solar, great hold. And that's B still locked in place for Marz. And Carnage Gaming a bit too far away to get a touch. So I think this is going to be all she wrote. Only 15 seconds remain, but good job for Marz holding on through and through. And Autens, he'll just make some style points on morality there, but it's not going to amount to much.
Morality was like, I'm going to decap the home hill just in case, guys. And Autens like, what? No, you're not. No, you're not, sir. Not today. But like you said, beautiful job playing defense right there. I think that's one of the things that Marz might be able to do a little bit better than most teams down here in Challengers is understand where the fight has to go and get people to the right position. Even though they got killed off on that retake, and that retake was very deadly for Carnage Gaming. They put themselves in a position to maybe even triple cap. What you saw was the immediate respawn, and instead of even challenging C, they flew through their home hill up by the tickets and then came down to the tank to help out their teammates. So I just think one of the things that we're going to have to see going forward is whether or not Marz has to continue to make plays like that, or if Marz can find themselves in 2-to-1 defensive setups and just pressure out Carnage.
CG's going to have a little bit more firepower, right? They got the Talon, they have the Boltok. Retro, though, for player 4. Rocky's going to have that in his hands, and that could be instrumental in taking over hill. For Dakota, though, he's not going to waste any time, man. He's pushing straight into Solar, hits one shot, gets the second, full red, man. Solar, I thought for sure was going to take him down, but now you got Autens trying to just run away as fast as he can. Morality, though, and Dakota is going to chase him down. He's going to drop. B's going to be locked in place for Marz. And slowly you got that little vice grip potentially coming through. Player 2 is going to be in a 1v2. He's going to spot one coming on the flank. Goes for the knife on one. Big shot's going to be missed, but the second one will connect. Crystallize will drop him. And it looks like they're going to go and overextend over to tank. That's going to leave Morality to try and battle in a 1v2. And we'll see how far he does push up. Meanwhile, though, BGod is in a fight of his own. So a lot of battles taking place, but that's Vasgar.
I mean, that's definitely going to be the tail of the tape of Vasgar, the way that you can actually get around the map as fast as you can. BGod, he's going to have a little help over the top. Rocky now is going to get 2v1. They stagger their deaths once again. This is the discipline that Marz needs to find themselves starting to have later in these weeks, later in these rounds. You saw Rocky continue to push in. They fully committed to it, and sometimes fully committing with your teammates works out. Sometimes you got to know when to count your chickens because, you know, most of them are already hatched and you don't want to, you know, go back to that well one too many times. You find yourself in a 3v1 at the home hill, and you saw it. I think Marz even had a player not even trying to get back to the home
player
hill.
2. Yeah, player 2 is just like, look, man, hey, I wish you the best of luck. Maybe you'll pop off, but if you don't, you know, it is what it is. I'm just going to be chilling, taking a sip of my water and just enjoying it. All right, 1-2. Let's see Carnage Gaming take that lead. And this is their map pick, one they wanted to start off strong with, and well, we can see why, at least from those past couple of rounds. Boltok now into the side for Dakota. He's going to place that down, so we'll see. Both weapons are going to be evened out here. And I want to see that tank fight once again. Who's going to push through tank? It was Dakota last time. Won't be Dakota this time, I assume. Actually, interesting. Nobody is going to go over towards tank. Carnage Gaming is immediately going to send everybody over to Charlie.
They are going to fly over to Charlie once again. Well, this is what Carnage Gaming did in round number 1. When they got that round number 2, when they got that very quick, when they got the very quick initial under their belt and did a very good job in their initial fight, even though they lost the round. So this is the kind of setup that they want to have. They're going to pressure up over here. They're going to get this home hill to home hill stretch. They're going to leave Dakota all by himself in a 1v1, and they're fine with that because they're like, look, we know you have to push up against us. We have the 2-to-1 hill advantage. We're going to get the point lead here very shortly, so pressure is going to be on Marz to make this retake happen. You can see Morality trying to get a shot on, but not enough to get a down or an out. Flashes out, Lancer out. Now they're trying to get a second couple of downs. They're trying to put the pressure back on Carnage Gaming. They're going to get the decap on their home. And might even get it back into their favor, but the hill doesn't matter right now. It's still early in the round. You need to just make sure you don't get wiped off of it and give it right back up. Meanwhile, triple cap domination's coming through, threatening for just a moment. Morality has to dance around, but it's not going to be good enough. 3 members of Carnage still there. They get their home back, and they are able to settle this round down for just a minute or 2 longer.
Yeah, with 3 members down, Carnage Game is going to capitalize on this. Dakota, though, big fight onto BGod. Silences him. but eventually dropped by Cristalize on the opposite end. So Carnage Gaming will get that 2-1 hill advantage, and Marz back to the drawing board. They've managed to get themselves a little bit of a lead, but it's not much to kind of bank on, so they're going to have to push back once again. Great Lancer fire from Solar. It's going to drop down Morality. Zoom, though, is not going to allow Morality to get finished off that easily, but unfortunately, he falls himself. That's another 2 down. Carnage Gaming now, you can see where they're going. Straight into Charlie. Dakota has the chance to shut them down, and he's doing a great job. That's 2 players down. Carnage Gaming is still going to get a touch on Charlie, but Rocky's going to shut down Cristalize. Well done. BGod last alive for CG.
Now you see CG trying their best to hold off, but you're going to see it's BGod over here at the B hill. He's going to get shot in the back. He goes for the head down and gets taken out by Dakota. Beautiful job there. Morality now fighting off with many members of Carnage coming back off a respawn. Shots over the cover. Not going to be able to find anybody just yet. Now you see Morality has to roll back. He's going to stand back up here. Lancer back across, trying to get the kill there onto Solar. They finally get it now. There comes the triple cap domination. Boltok 2 shots in, gets the down. Here comes Autens. And nobody from Carnage Gaming gave it up. They have to all be dead, red, or off a respawn for them to lose this round. Beautiful job by the side of Marz to tie it up 2-2 coming into the second half. And all that really changes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, is just the hills now. You get that mid-neutral over there at the helicopter. You're still going to see a lot of teams, though, go for the home-to-home stretch. On a map like Vasgar, the hills are just so close together, you're able to take up pressure points and really put the pressure on your opponent.
All right, here we are. I like it. Very close. Man, I was a bit worried it was going to be a blowout after that 39-second first round, but it seems as if both teams have kind of got their legs underneath them, and it's looking a lot better. Hammer burst on both sides. You know, sometimes we see maybe an instant coming out shock, but no, we want that firepower with the retro and the hammer burst. So expect these teams to be flying at each other, much like we've seen in the first 4 rounds. And for Marz, man, they're going to push straight over towards tank. May not be a power weapon there, but the big battle, it seems, is going to be Delta. That's where both teams want to go and lock in place. So that firepower from the hammer burst and the retro is going to be hugely beneficial in getting that chip damage on Solar as he pushes in on tank.
I want to see, here we go. Solar on the back side of that cover, shooting across. Not going to be able to get anything out of Morality. I think he's just trying to get the information right now, the intel. Everybody kind of just pot-shotting around. You see everybody just kind of looking around, trying to find where their next fight might come from. But I love what BGod has done. He rotated around. He put the pressure up onto Zoom, which forces Zoom off of his spot. And now the E hill is going to be under contestation. 3 versus 2. About to break out at the home hill of Marz. Marz is going to have to use their Lancers to try to keep damage on those 2 players. They're actually going to roll out. It looks like they're going to forfeit their home hill here momentarily. They're even going to lose a player in this fight. Oh, the rotation over. That hammer burst, baby. I believe it was a hammy I heard. Yeah, it is in the hand of Zoom. That's a lot of damage to come out very quickly, and they even things up here. They're going to get it down onto Solar. The Retro's trying to protect Solar, but a beautiful job of Wolfpacking, getting the downs, getting the kills. Now it's only a matter of time before they can get this hill. Double shot down in the kill. Morality still hanging out at the home mill of Carnage. It's a danger zone, baby. I don't know if you want to stay here for too much longer because they're going to be coming off of spawn, baby.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go for the flank, but he doesn't commit. He knew his teammates were going to do just fine on that fight for the hill. Now that player 2 is on Dakota, aka Abolics. So at this point, he doubles back. He's now being joined by Zoom and the rest of his teammates. Rocky is also there. So at this point, maybe the danger zone, but it's going to be the danger zone for Carnage. So they may be at home. They may be coming out of spawn, but it's not helping them whatsoever. Solar also goes into the blender. Player 7 Cristalize. He's not even going to try and make an attempt. He knew he wasn't going to get there in time. Well done from the side of Marz. Seriously, I gotta say, they're looking poised, they're looking in control. To take map number 1 here would be pretty massive, right? It always feels good to start off the series taking your opponent's map pick.
And this is what the position for Carnage Gaming that they didn't need to find themselves in. Twice now, we've seen Marz use their utility rifles, the Retro and the Hammer Burst, to flip the script on him. I mean, the damage output that you're getting from those 2 rifles has been just outstanding. They get rid of the Retro right now, and I actually almost don't even mind that, because what you're going to see is they might take that hammer based on where it spawns into the fight over at F, and we've already seen how good it is. He had 2 shots ring out. It's 5 rounds of shot. It ended up clipping somebody, helps get that first down. I would not mind seeing Morality bring that into that F fight when they set up for it, or even if they stay there to play defense at D. And that's what they did. 2-2 split. Taylor, I loved, like, forgive me, but I love this.
Oh yeah, I do too, man. It's just the setups are great, man. That 2v2 split was, I like that because it shows who really wants it, man. Like, who's going to be able to win that fight. And I know a lot of people talk about, one player dropping off and, people using their respawns aggressively and not really focusing up. But again, if you do that 2v2 split and you just push out there and you throw your life away and put your teammate in a 1v2, you better believe he's gonna be pissed off. Okay, bottom line, period, right? So it's great to see that battle, man. And for Carnage Gaming, I have that 2-to-1 hill advantage. They may be down about 30 points, but they're looking to make good on this E-push. And again, that 2v2 split on the opposite end, you've got Autens and BGod kind of shoulder to shoulder pushing through. But even though they got that high ground, Zoom and Rocky, they're ready to counter against them. I can't wait for the flashes out. There's the flashes. So Carnage Gaming, they're going to be into the mix. Let's see if Zoom and Rocky can hold their own here.
Zoom and Rocky, they're just lancering back. They know they don't have to, pressure that fight. Now the extra man rotates over. It's a 3v2 on that side of the hill, and look at this. They're going to continue to fly out. If they turn around and realize that BGod is basically by himself, they can easily turn back around and get damage onto him, maybe even get it down, but it's not going to be in time, not quick enough. Now it's going to be a 3v2 at the D-hill, and this is the horse track we talked about earlier. Just going to continue to rotate around the map. A couple of downs come through. Rocky gets the finish with a retro. Second kill for Rocky, and then the misroll comes out. 3v2-1 by Marz. They're going to push back out over to the E-hill, which is a 3v1. About to pop off because Cristalize, he's got no hope until they come back off a respawn, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to go for this decap, and they are going to put the pressure on that triple cap domination, forcing somebody to go back to the home hill. I mean, this is beautiful teamwork right now. Marz, they're going to be over the 200-point threshold. They're going to be well within their rights to win this round, especially with the way that they have played, almost picture perfect.
Yeah, and Carnage, you talk about picture perfect. That's exactly what CG needs to be at this moment. They're going to have to push in all the right lanes at the right time, as well as win their fights. It is going to be a trade, so that's a benefit. Oh, no, Solar doesn't pull the trigger. I think he was close enough for the chunk, but Zoom will take him down, and that all but ends the dreams of taking that round for CG. And now it's a lead 4-2 from Marz. Great teamwork, good rotations. I love the way they were utilizing their numbers. Exactly what we need to see from them. Rocky having one hell of a game. 17-6, 7 deaths to his name. Man, if they can take this map here off of Carnage Gaming, it's going to give them all the confidence in the world.
You mind if I throw something out there real quick, Taylor? One of the reasons I loved seeing the 2-2 split where they kept the hammer burst at home. It has been so long since we've seen that kind of play get thrown in to a competitive game, or not the competitive game type, but thrown into a highly competitive matchup in a tournament on broadcast where somebody said, look, we know what we're comfortable with. We've got the hammer burst over here. Let's put it down at home. Let's make it to work to our benefit. Yeah, they've taken it away now. They went back to the double utilities, the incendiary and the shock. But the way that escalation has evolved, the way that these teams have now evolved with 4v4, you're able to throw these little wrinkles into your playbook that make initials and make rounds that much better, easier for yourself, and that much harder and more confusing for your opponent. And that makes Gears Esports that much better for everybody. Spectator, player, caster, everybody involved.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes, we're kind of in the rat wheel, if you will, just constantly seeing the same thing over and over again. It's nice to see these teams, kind of adapt to the scenario and just, like you said, make things a little bit easier on themselves instead of making it harder and constantly just trying to battle for power weapon and whatnot. Great shot, though, from Solar. Autens, he's got that long shot. That's what they were battling for at the end of the day. And Carnage Gaming filling it home. They've locked in both the D and E. But 3v2, though. Again, now you got Carnage Gaming. They may not have the man advantage here, but they got the long shot. But you got to connect with them to make the most use of it.
Yeah, you just got to start hitting shots, whether it be in the body or the head, to be able to get use out of it. He doesn't find anybody or anything right there, which will give them the advantage of the E-hill. And now Marz, they're going to try to play some defense here at their home. 2 shots and a down. Dakota, though, misrolls out. He needs his teammate morality to win one of these fights. 2v1 now. He had some help coming off of respawn. 2-1 hill advantage in favor of Marz. Marz is going to have a 2v2 over here at the E-hill. Rocky needs to get some early shots in on either of these players and force the fight early and double bounce around. BGod goes down. Beautiful job. They're going to pressure back up into a defensive position. 3v3 now at the E-Hill as both teams mount up for a retake here. Whoever gets the most initial damage, and I think they're going to force Carnage to make this first move because they are down in points, and this is the smart play. They're backing up, they're making Carnage push toward him, come out into the open, try to make these shots work for him, and Rocky, oh my God, oh, he didn't finish it. He didn't finish the kill, it doesn't come back to bite him.
Well, even so, though, I love what Marz did. They went into damage control. They sent player 2 over. That's Dakota, Abolics, right? That's the player you won in those big 1v1s. He goes against BGod, takes him down, secures Delta. Now Carnage gaming off the respawn. They're going to have to split up their forces. Now, it's going to be tough, but the instant is there. It doesn't connect. That's heartbreaking. Now Abolics is going to be forced to utilize this 1v2 to the best of his positioning, but he takes the low ground, hits some great shots. Still, he's still alive. BGod can hit the final shot. The longer Abolics stays here, the better off Marz is going to be. But Abolics eventually ends up getting finished up, but the win condition still into the hands of Marz. Carnage Gaming has to get the break on F. Player 9 is there. He's going to be able to do so, but player 4 makes a break for it. That's Rocky once again making a great play. He's going to be able to lock in the hill on the other side. That gives the win condition back over to Marz. 15 seconds, they take the victory. And now, if it wasn't hard enough as it was, it's made even harder. Player 9, he's got to now take this 1v2, and he's going to drop off. Abolics takes him down, and Marz secures the round. Well done. 5-2 victory. Marz 1-0 in the series.
Beautiful job by Marz to finish that out. And rotations from them, all Vasgar long, picture perfect. They always found the weak spot on the map. They always found where they needed to rotate to. And without a doubt, Rocky is the MVP of that map. How many times did we have to say his name? Whether it was prolonging a fight, rotating around, rolling back, getting damage out. Rocky did a fantastic job. I believe I saw it was 22 and 8 for the kills to assists. And yeah, my man Marz he's got some problems, but we're gonna work with him. We're gonna keep working with Marz out here. Okay, we're gonna work with him, baby. They are up 1-0, and Taylor, I'm highly impressed with them in their first map.
Yeah, I am as well. Speaking of which, you point out Rocky, rightly so. His stat line was incredible. He was picking up those major engagements, huge fights. Abolics towards the end, though, impressed me. Again, rotating over, damage control. At that point in time, we witnessed Marz, losing a couple of fights. They lose the 2-1 hill advantage. But because you had Abolics rotating over, he was splitting up those forces for Carnage Gaming. He was doing a hell of a job in those 1v2 situations. And he was just forcing CG to reallocate forces. I'm very impressed with him. And that wasn't the first time he did that, right? It didn't just come down to the last round. He did that in several rounds before. So well done on Abolics' part. Rocky, just the entire team from Marz. Vasgar is a unique map, right? And no map is really like it in terms of the maps that we consistently see. But it just comes to show you, it's kind of one of those gut checks, right? It shows you who's going to have the better gun skill because there's constant engagements, constant rotations. It's pretty chaotic, right? I can only imagine the communications between these two teams. If we ever had a listening, right, it would just be constant, just back and forth. But again, for Marz to come out and dominate as well as they did 5-2, it just shows me that they might be a lot stronger than the Carnage Gaming roster, and they could be in trouble. They're heading into District much slower, totally opposite game. But the fact that Marz picked this map shows that, hey, we're confident in our slow game as well. So fast game, good. It says they did on Vasgar. District slow game, they'll be just fine.
That's one of the things that I think really needs to be said about this Marz squad. And we saw it actually in a couple of those highlights right there. Zoom, relatively unknown to the rest of the community. He showed it in several different fashions. Meat shield headshot with a snub, gets the down, runs up, gets the kills. Earlier, he sees somebody bouncing at him. He takes the right hand. He waits for him to try to take that corner, puts the Nasher to his temple and pulls the trigger. I mean, absolutely picture perfect. The way you play that outplays two different people. And then the best one is Zoom hit a double bounce and then hit a back A on somebody to get the down to help get the out. So while we had Rocky go for the MVP in that map number 1, Zoom had a lot to do with their success as well. Even though he's relatively unknown, got to give him praise, got to give him a shout right now. And he did it in all 3 ways possible: slow play, fast play, and defensively.
And again, joining this roster of experienced players to fill in the shoes of Lanarchy, right? That's a big moment for him, and he's definitely taking that moment and making it his. Again, 4v4, you lose one player. Let's say Zoom doesn't perform well. He drops the ball because of the pressure. Maybe he's not accustomed to being on, in the limelight, if you will. Maybe he's not accustomed to playing against the likes of Carnage Gaming with Cristalize, Autens, BGod, and so I'm sure he's watched them time in and time out. The pressure gets to him. look, 3v4, you're not going to win that bottom line period. Carnage Gaming probably takes that victory. So well done in all regards. I love the fact that we can talk, we can highlight Rocky, we can highlight Zoom, we can highlight Abolics. Morality also had his moments too. It's a good match for your team if the casters can highlight every single player and say, look, every player had a moment and made it theirs. Very well done. Heading into district again, much slower pace. But it's also a map that, you can really fall behind if you lose those big fights, right? Because it's a big map. You go for the overextension, you're 2 members down, all of a sudden you're looking at a reverse domination or at least losing a 2-1 hill advantage. Carnage Gaming, what can we take away that's positive from Vascar? Heading into district, what can they apply from Vascar to this fresh map?
They had some good Wolfpack moments. The rounds that they were able to compete and really get their kills on were when they were able to Wolfpack stagger out the kills and therefore stagger out the respawns of the Marz. And one of the things that they got to do is get that initial damage in the mid-fountain fight. Be able to get that initial pick. You have him off a respawn for a few seconds. Sure. His timer's counting down. Well, once you get that kill, that mid pick, you then get that next kill in the next 4 to 5 seconds. Now you've got that second staggered respawn. It allows you to pressure up. Yeah, they're going to come back off a respawn, and you might not be able to pressure for the triple cap domination, but keep your opponents on the back foot. Keep your wolf pack strong, and make sure that if Marz finds the weak point in your map, that you just continue to rotate around them, whether it be an over rotation or a defensive stand. Keep your numbers strong. Keep yourself in an area where you can help out your teammate, especially on district. There's enough Lancer lanes here that you should always be able to have some kind of damage coming into the fight, Taylor.
Oh, absolutely, right. I mean, that Lancer fire is critical. Having those neutral points to Lancer out the neutral, right, that is absolutely massive, whether it be in juice or whatever. Big thing for me, though, is going to be the mid battle. Carnage Gaming, I think, is going to have a great time if we see maybe an answer back from Marz, if they want to go head-to-head into mid battle. Again, you look at that long shot fight. It went well for Carnage Gaming. They won it. Did they get value out of it? Absolutely not. They weren't hitting their shots, but at least they won the fight when they went head-to-head. So if there is a mid battle, I think Carnage Gaming is going to be okay. But not only do they have to win that, I'm also going to be looking at Autens once again, right? Dakota. He's going to be, or excuse me, Abolics Dakota. It's going to be big for me because, again, he was consistently and confidently going on his own, challenging the home hill of CG and taking those big 1v1s, whether it be against BGod or you take your pick on Carnage Gaming. And he was winning those fights consistently. That's something he can do on District. Pretty much the same as on Vascar, and I expect him to do just the same as he did on Vascar. So keep your eyes peeled for him. Don't allow him to get behind enemy lines because you don't want to be in the process of trying to lock in the neutral, and all of a sudden you're losing your home hill, and now you're down 2-1 hills, and you have to double back, send men over to get your own home hill, and then therefore the enemy team then gathers the neutral, right? It's just going to be a cat and mouse game. But here's that mid battle. I want to see how well this goes for Carnage Gaming. Again, I think if they go head to head with the boys on Marz, I think they'll be okay.
And what you see immediately, they gave up that mid-fountain fight, and Solar's going to go down. Rocky gets to rotate around and clean up that kill. Full spread out on Autens, and there's the extra help in the fight. Zoom is going to get Lancered out by Cristalize, but now Rocky rotates in for him. This is the old bait and switch. This is the gefilte fish, if I like to say so myself. The revive chain comes through. They're going to get somebody to the 90 degree, and they're going to force Cristalize to make a decision here. And look at the downs and damage from everybody on Marz. This has just not gone the way of Carnage Gaming whatsoever in the early goings of map number 2.
Yeah, I really thought that mid battle was going to go a lot better, but like you mentioned, that bait and switch, man. Look, take nothing away from that, guys. Bait and switching is hugely important for getting that leg up on the fight. One player gets weak, he backs out, another fresh player comes in. You're already weak yourself. It's just hard to catch up in those regards. Overextension in play, and everywhere you look, Carnage Gaming is getting dropped. Solar gets a chunk onto one. Actually, no, it's on the Cristalize. How heartbreaking is that? You're trying to get a touch, keep the game alive, and you chunk your own teammate. Not that it really would have mattered, Colin, but definitely something you don't want to do in the end. A minute and 20 seconds, that's a fast round when it comes to District.
Definitely a fast round, and Marz really took advantage of the fact that Carnage gave up that mid-fountain fight. One of the things that we've seen in the Pro League is the way that teams like Hive especially have gotten to that front cover, gotten that first Nasher shot off, which puts that little bit of extra pressure on your opponent and has allowed you to kind of rotate around District however you please. Carnage has to get into that rhythm. They have to find a way to pressure that mid lane fight early. They give it up like that every round, they're going to end up finding themselves in a 2-0 situation, and they're going to be watching grand finals.
When you put it that way, you just understand the gravity and the seriousness of this at this point, right? I know CG didn't make it this far. First time on broadcast here for the Gears Challenger Series, only to end early in semifinals. Great start for BGod. Takes down Rocky, and the Lancer Fire is going to be real. Morality's not going to get out of there. And hey, Abolics can't even turn around. He knows at this point in time, look, I just got to stand strong, 10 toes down, and fight this out. But Zoom, that great Lancer angle, he's not making the job any easier for these boys on CG. But even so, Abolics can't get in comfortably. He's going to get chunked, and Carnage Gaming's going to take that win. Well done, 36 seconds. Lessons learned, it seems, from round one.
Definitely did a much better job, 36 seconds. And if every round like this goes this way, we might spend about the same amount of time it takes to boil a pot of water as we'll spend on map number 2. Retro coming out for the side. Retro coming out for the side of Carnage Gaming. It looks like they're going to answer back with a Retro of their own instead of the Boltok. But Zoom's still hovering around for just a moment. And is that what we're going to see? We got 5 seconds. I know they're talking it over. I know they're like, hey, look, let's just take the rest of this time, try to talk it out, because they just need to figure out what they're going to do to stop that mid lane pressure, because that's what always comes back to bite you. So this will be a definite interesting third round, if you ask me.
Yeah, it'd been interesting if they would play something up top, maybe setting up for a drop shot in Cinema, maybe a torque bow over there as well. But it seems as if both teams are very comfortable with having the weapons down low. They can obviously upgrade to shocks later on, maybe if they want that bandstand fight, which eventually is going to happen in the second half. Now you notice though, Marz, they don't apply as much pressure to the mid battle. They allow Carnage Gaming to get in there, and well, there's nobody to fight. Now you're looking at Lancer Fire just chipping away damage at them. Great audible for Marz. I'm curious if it will pay off, but for Carnage Gaming, you can tell they're kind of pinned up. They really don't want to go anywhere.
I think BGod has the angle down from that bandstand, and you really can't go anywhere. If you don't have a smoke, if you don't have anything to cloud the vision lanes and try to rotate around, all you can do is hope to find an opening, and this is going to be 45-45 and just continue to build. But, I mean, Zoom tried to rotate over to the Cinema, and he got Lancered down hard by both Solar and, I believe, Cristalize still inside of that juice. So this is going to be another Carnage Gaming round where they can pressure up and try to take the fight to him. And with that kill, BGod is just going to make things harder for the rest of Marz to come back in this round.
You know, and I thought that was an ingenious move from Marz to allow Carnage Gaming to pigeonhole themselves in mid, but it seems as if CG just kind of, you know, battles around that. Again, like it's cool to have Carnage Gaming pigeonholed in mid, but if you're not going to take anybody out, if you're not going to kill anybody, I mean, what's it all for, right? So maybe a bit of a misstep for Marz. Carnage Gaming takes another quick round. Minute and 30 seconds. Not 39 seconds, but it's still very quick. 2 rounds in a row. Carnage Gaming, they're getting their feet underneath them. Marz, again, just needs to go back to round 1, battle for mid, and try and take it to them. Let's see if maybe they'll learn this time. And I'm sure we are going to get something up in ATM, so probably Boltox on both ends. Yep.
There we go. Boltox at both ends. Way to call that out early. And right now, I think they need to change up the fight. Maybe rotate up to the Cinema, up to the Cinema early. Maybe leave the bandstand and the Retro to kind of fend for himself. He's got enough damage output that he could stop you from coming into the hill. You can't just keep challenging the same fight. It's not going to work out in your favor. There's the extra damage. BGod with a misroll, though, might give Marz the opening they need. This won't come due to the tactician of the fight. It'll come due to the misroll of BGod, but you see the answer already back. A couple of kills coming through for both teams, and Morality, he's got one more to worry about. Cristalize in front of him.
I thought Solar was going to pull out that heroic 1v2, but hands it over to Morality, who's now going to try and make a break for it. Why not, right? They got player 2. He's going to be sandwiched. BGod has to go against player 8 of Rocky, but you also have Morality down low as well. Solar's going to be there. Morality's going to back up, give him some space. He already knows players from CG is going to be off the respawn. Great movement there. Morality is going to be able to get that chip damage in for Solar. Autens will drop. Marz looking at a domination. And what's the biggest difference from that last round to this round? They actually challenged mid. They didn't play passively at all. They took the fight immediately to Carnage Gaming. They did not allow them to breathe. Very well done. They tied up 2-2. Now we're going to move that that neutral hill down to bandstand. But overall, great first half.
And we come to the second half, and now things should I mean, they're gonna get a little bit more saucy earlier in the round, because now instead of just that mid neutral hill being up there at the cinema, down here at the bandstand where everybody was rotating around early in the fights, early in the round. So we're gonna have the mid neutral hill right here around where these fights should be going. And a little difference of opinion, Carnage Gaming going with the hammy retro, whereas over on the side of Marz, they just want that retro every 60 seconds.
Might as well, man. That retro hits hard. Hammer Burst, though, hits hard, too, but, of course, not off the initial. Actually, Marz doesn't send any. They don't even stop for the retro. Honestly, that could have been hugely beneficial, but I guess this mid-battle, they just want all Nashers, right? Oh, Solar, good spacing, takes down Zoom. Zoom's going to be cleaned up by Cristalize. Morality now is going to be angled out in every which way you look at it. He's going to drop, even though he hits a nice spread onto Autens. Great start for CG. Player 5, he's going to be in no man's land on the home hill of Marz, but if he can hold this, a domination could be there. He's got to take down player 8. Rocky's going to space it out so he can get a touch in him, but he doesn't even have a choice. But Cristalize, he's not on the hill either. So now he's going to be looking at a wave of CG members pushing him, or Marz members, I should say. But it looks like they're holding on. This is a CG round.
That's a beautiful job for Carnage Gaming to just hold on there, come away with the domination, and in less than a minute, I mean, we really have not spent much time taking in the scenery here at District, but I don't think that matters to many people. Zoom, though, I got to point this out. My man might be scoring a goose egg with kills. I know he doesn't have one of his own, but he's got 13 assists right now. He's looking at everybody else. He's like, Rocky, I know you got 9. Can you spare one? Like, my man's looking like Robin Hood with the cup out right now. You know the Robin Hood gif I'm talking about from the animated movie? Got the cup, man, looks like a beggar.
Literally no idea. Literally
okay,
no
never
idea,
mind.
Man.
I'm gonna have to tag you
look it up,
in
though.
Whatever. It's whatever you want to call it.
Did you say GIF? You did say it's not peanut butter, brother. We're talking about GIF.
It's
okay?
peanut butter and it's delicious.
I know the original person who created it, he actually said literally he named it GIF, but everybody calls it GIF. Don't care. I mean, why should we, right? It's called GIF, ladies and gentlemen. And Rocky, it's called Chunks. He's going to manage to pick up 2. Well done. He's going to push all the way through. He's deep, and he's on F. So this is looking like a great start for Marz. Those 2 members from CG, 3 and 5, you got to get on E. I know it's hard. I know you're going to lose your life, but you just got to go for it.
They're going to try their best right here. You see Morality lancering out, trying to keep Solar off the hill. He's going to get a lot of damage, and Solar's going to be, I think, as one shot as you can get. He was down to under 10% at one point, ladies and gentlemen, but not going to be able to get down just yet, and is going to continue to fight for his life. But Dakota rolls in, playing that beautiful chrome steel Germad skin, shutting him down. Pushes up and almost gets retroed to death by Autens. And now Autens has to rotate back, flash out, not going to be able to get much to go in that fight. They're going to set up for the defensive stand here. 3 members of Carnage Gaming off of respawn now, and this is the push that they're going to be able to need. There's the Lancer angle for the top window. They're going to be able to damage both of those players, and they're just going to have to sit back and relax, and already a kill comes through on the top side of the map, so now Carnage doesn't even have to push up. They're going to have the home-to-home spread.
Just want to say, by the way, beautiful GIF. I actually really love that GIF. I'm going to be stealing that from you. It kind of made me laugh. I had to mute the mic for a second. Big battle, though. Mid player 3 falls. Now 5 by himself. He's going to end up falling too. Player 4, can you make anything happen? Maybe not. I don't know if I cast a cursed him, but he was in a 1v2. Tough spot. Marz looking great in these team fights. Now they're all over the hills. Player 3's just got to get a touch. Not going to happen. You can already see the writing on the wall. I hear you sighing, and Marz about to tie this up 3-3.
And Solar's drops to his knees, doesn't get into the hill long enough to break it. Like you said, it is tied up 3-3, and that kind of boils down once again. I don't think it's necessarily that Carnage Gaming is losing a lot of these rounds in the initial. It's kind of silly mistakes. All 3 rounds they have lost came from somebody getting picked off early and giving up a 2-to-1 hill advantage to the side of Marz. Marz in their first round win, it was that 49 seconds. They obliterated them, but that was because Carnage Gaming, they didn't roll out to the middle. They got Lancer down to the doorway, and that opened things up for the rest of Marz. Second round they won. BGod misrolls. He goes down in the beginning. It opens things up for Marz. In that round, you saw it right there at the E-Hill. 2 players come from the bottom side thinking they're going to catch somebody off a guard. Marz is standing up, lancering assault rifles out. They get the double down. They get the kills. They end up getting the hill. They open things up. Carnage has to clean these little mental errors, these little mental mistakes up. And this should already be over, but it's not. And that's a testament to how good Marz is playing right now, the way that they're able to capitalize on any little mistake that Carnage Gaming has made.
Who's going to be the first one to reach round 4, right? That's a coveted round. Gives you a little bit of added insurance and cushion, right? Especially if you lose the next round going to round 9. It also opens the door for you to be the first one to use your disable, block out those shock. They'll be answered back by the other team, but again, it gives you the first say. Not locked in. I for sure thought Carnage was going to get it, but man, from the overextension, Rocky takes down Cristalize, but BGod's answering back. These are some big eliminations. Morality, Dakota, they both fall. Carnage Gaming now is going to be able to make a break for it, but they are going to be on all ends of the map, trying to go for all hills, but it looks as if they're going to focus their attention to take down Rocky. Success. Rocky falls. D's going to be locked in place. Carnage Gaming, they'll start chipping away at that 40-point deficit. Now it's all defensive work from here.
And they just have to set up. They do have the positioning. They've gotten the kills. They got their home back. They're going to be able to come back into this. It's not too late. You'll see the win condition pop up in their favor here very soon. But what we need to see out of the rest of Marz is the next rotation, and already a down top side of the map. That's gonna keep Marz on the back foot. Morality hits one good shot, but he's gonna get Lancered out from the 90°, and he possibly goes down. It's gonna be up to player number 8 to win that 1v1 or send Cristalize back home to be able to put the pressure back on to Carnage Gaming. But I mean, with that secondary win right there, leaving Morality in a 3v1, you can pretty much chalk it up. Even though it's still only 135, it's gonna take a Herculean effort by Marz to get back into this round.
Oh, 100%. And that leaves the question out for Rocky. You know, does he want to make a break for it, challenge Cristalize? And, you know, offense sometimes is the best defense, and looks as if he's going to be setting up maybe just to lock in, sit him aside. So he's not going to push up just yet. Marz, they're taking their time, formulating a plan. E, though, might be in their line of sights very soon. Zoom wants this kill on player 4. He's going to get it. He's going to challenge now player 5 and Cristalize. If he gets that elimination, D is not long off, but now they have to worry about player 3, who won the fight versus Morality, and Dakota on the opposite end. He's going to be beelining it straight over towards F. Zoom's going to get on D. So we got this back and forth battle. Carnage Gaming, though, staying one step ahead when it comes to the objective. And again, Marz now still so far away from victory, and off the respawn, they just got to go for it.
They're going to have to fly over here. You see all the hills getting decapped, but the win there at the home hill of Marz, too little, too late. That's going to cap everything back up. They win both home hills. That's going to be all she's said and done. 4-3, Carnage Gaming, 1 round away from sending us to a map number 3. I jinxed us. I know I jinxed us when I said something about a map 3, baby. I knew I did it to us, Taylor. I'm sorry, buddy. I ain't mean it.
Hey, look, man. Hey, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm not against a map 3, man. Look, I'm really not. Harbor is going to be a fun one to see. We've already seen a great Harbor match earlier between Double R and Papa Chalky Milk. I want to see another Harbor between Carnage and Marz, because if I had to guess, you know, for either of these teams going into the finals, you know, Harbor is a map that I definitely would pick against Double R, right? They lost that just earlier. Why not pick that again and potentially have the leg up, right? So watching Harbor would give us a good indication as to maybe that could be in the pick and bans coming up. But we might not even get to that point. Again, it's 4-3. Carnage Gaming, they're on the cusp of sending it to map 3, but they haven't got there just yet. Marz can still answer back.
Here we see Rocky over the top of the cover trying to get shots on the BGod, but the flash comes through and the up A from BGod out. Now we get to down on Zoom, and this might be all she wrote very quickly, because they are off to the races, putting the pressure on the last few members of Marz that are still alive. The misroll, not very what you want, and that's going to be all she said and done. Domination ticking on down, ticking through, and Taylor, take it away, baby. Hit me with the victory speech.
Looks like it's going to be 5-3. Carnage Gaming answers back, ladies and gentlemen. That guarantees us a map number 3 on Harbor. You love to see it. Carnage Gaming fighting. They're not going down without a fight. And again, they want to make grand finals. This is their first appearance during the Gears Challenger Series, and are looking to make good on that. Well done from BGod. 14-11, 8 deaths. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, though, we got map 3 Harbor to decide who's going to be our last team in grand finals. Welcome back to the Gears Challenger Series Split 2 Phase 1 Week 2. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Colin DeCrow Clark. We're now heading into our second map 3 of the night. You'll love to see it. And it's going to finish off where we started on in the first series. We're going to be finishing off on Harbor. And again, a map that I definitely want to see, because I suspect we are going to see Harbor in grand finals, especially against Double R, who ended up losing that earlier. So it's going to be a good indication which team is the better team, I think, tonight on that map. But hey, overall, great map from Carnage Gaming. They turned things around. Why is that? Why were they able to take this map as opposed to Vasgar?
Because Carnage was able to play together a lot more. It's a much more condensed map. There wasn't as many lanes for Marz to kind of rotate out of fights and really take themselves away from the damage output of Carnage Gaming. Carnage Gaming was able to get a lot of shots in, a lot of initial damage. Marz wasn't able to escape it like they were on Vasgar. Harbor is kind of a mixed bag. There's a lot of places to hide. It's a bigger map, so that lends itself to what Marz was so good at in map number 1. But it's about a wench fight. It's about a stern fight. It's about getting the extra Lancer angle into the fight early. And so there is a chance that Carnage could just repeat their success of map number 2. And you know how earlier you said that you just realized that their last team name was just the first initial of everybody's name?
Yeah.
I just realized that it's the same thing for this new team name. I was looking at it and then saw all their names list. It is. It is. Morality, Abolics, Rocky, Zoom. It's literally on the logo. It's on the freaking logo.
That just makes, look, thank you so much for making me feel better. I know you did it unintentionally, man, because I didn't realize it for the first roster and I didn't realize it for the second one either, but neither did you. We were both in the dark, man. See, I like creative things like that. You know, the Nasher being held backwards with the Gears Esports hat on and like whatever, man. But look, I like it. I like what Marz got going on. And let's see what Carnage Gaming can do. Again, man, it's going to be a mixed bag on Harbor. Okay, you can have Carnage Gaming who brings in aspects of District onto this map. Of course, you can have Vascar aspects brought in, as you were mentioning. That worked out so well for Marz. So it really is a mixed bag. I have no idea how this is going to go, but either way, the better team will take the victory in the end. And Double R is going to have their hands full. I think we're going to have another map through. It's going to be a long night. Bottom line, period.
I mean, I am working with UMG, so you knew you were in for the long haul, baby. Curse to the Colin always comes through. I love the fly-through, by the way, the updates that they've made to Harbor. This map was a lot. I know you got to cast some of it in Gears 4. Do you remember how like dark and murky this map was in Gears 4?
I do.
I love how they brightened it up.
A lot more people also sounded the horn as well, which I think has only been done once since I've been casting it on Gears 5. I'm pretty sad about that, I just want to say.
Hey, look, it's harder to pull the horn, all right? That they made it heavier, so it's harder to
You're
pull it.
You're telling me Gears pros can't pull the horn? Come on.
They spend too much time not scrimming or working out to pull the horn, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and say this. Solar is going to roll back. He's going to get lanced out from a couple of different angles. He has to save his life right here. Full red, and I love Morality just challenges and gets the win. He could be able to get some back A's off to try to put the damage out, but Dakota says, don't worry about it, brother. I got your back like a butt crack. He rolls into the fight to help his teammate out. Now he and Morality are just torturing Carnage Gaming over toward their home hill.
And this is almost looking like a repeat of Vascar, right? Those individual fights going, okay, hold up a second. Cristalize just did what Morality was doing a little bit earlier. My man just went through and absolutely dominated those two players on Marz. Now, granted, Marz is still here, but Cristalize let them know, like, look, it's not going to be that easy to take the win. They'll get it, but I really like that from Cristalize, man. He's not taking any trash talk at all. 1 minute and 23 seconds. Marz, they strike first.
And one of the things that you have to remember is that's not going to happen often. As good as that round was for all of Marz, they had to continuously win fight after fight after fight, going closer and closer to the spawn of Carnage. And that's a hard gig to play. I mean, you're talking 90s Seattle grunge. You might have a lot of fans in the audience, but if you ain't good, they're going to let you hear about it. And if you weren't good, you were going to get killed right off the rip, and you were going to get sent back to your respawn trying to pressure that Jumbo Cap domination. So very job well done by Marz, if you ask me.
Hey, look, little historical facts here. Back in the last chance qualifier when ALRM, now Marz, played against Remedy for their spot in the Pro League. They played on Harbor. Remedy ended up winning it 5-1. I don't know what that if that obviously doesn't really necessarily apply tonight, but it does show that if Marz can maybe dominate this map, hey, lessons learned in the addition of Zoom versus Lanarchy, or even just the teamwork in general, playing much longer with this roster is obviously paying off. For Rocky, though, great elimination onto Autens. Nice shots on the Cristalize, big spacing. Cristalize can still pick up this elimination, and he will. Rocky tries to get away, but no cover is going to be there, and Cristalize had him weak enough to take him down with a couple more pellets. Abolics going to take his spot, challenge Cristalize, who's now trying to get away himself, and he will. Morality, though, isn't going to let him live for long. He's going to pick up 2. Autens now might be looking at an OE, and he better be ready for it.
Autens has got to worry about his defensive capability. He goes down. He's going to have the flash out. He explodes just a second too early, so the stun doesn't come through. B-Hill's going to be threatened. The home hill's going to be threatened. Here comes everybody off a respawn. The melee stun from the snub comes out, and he turns his back. He turns his back and gets one shot down. Oh, God, mistakes were made, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't see anybody throwing a nade off the wall.
Yeah, well, like, Morality didn't even shoot his Lancer. Like, he didn't even get that chip damage. The body is up, or the meat shield was there. Obviously, it's doing damage, it's getting the chip damage itself, but where's the Lancer fire? Where's the team fire? Where's the teamwork? Morality literally just stood there and took a natural shot straight to the chest. Have no idea what that was. Either way, though, Marz is going to be recovering. They've got Alpha and Bravo, still the 2-to-1 hill advantage. They're going to lose it, but that is a missed opportunity, and I'm very disappointed to see that. That's a rookie mistake. That should not have happened.
Should not have happened at all. 2-to-1 hill advantage in favor now of Carnage, and now we get to see what Marz is made of in the retake game. You can see him trying to gather up their respawns. A win there in the middle of the map, though, for Morality, gave him the chance to pressure back out toward the home hill, try to figure out where everybody's going to rotate around to. 4v4 on the map once again. Who can win the retake battle? Will the defensive stand come through? BGod misrolls yet again. That's come back to bite them every single map in some engagement sooner or later. BGod has got to get that movement under control. He keeps throwing lives away, and that's just not what you want to see by some of the high caliber players.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, man, because again, we have seen a ton of misrolls. It's not just BGod, right? He's just the most recent offender, but so many misrolls up. And again, where's the team fire? Once again, you have the Lancer fire from the back, but they're not capitalizing in these moments. Granted, they're still doing just fine. They've got the 2-to-1. You will see player 7, though. Cristalize is going to be on B. The scoreline is close. This could be the difference maker. Matter of fact, Marz might lose this. They've now got to push into Charlie, and if they collapse here, that's going to be all she wrote. Solar trying to pick up eliminations, not going to be successful. 7 gets off of B, and look, Marz wins that round, but that was messy through and through. I saw so many mistakes in those moments, whether it be for Marz, BGod obviously making the misrolls. That was just a bad round on both teams.
Call a custodian for some cleanup, because both teams not looking too fancy right there. I'm not sure if it was the milk aisle or the ice cream, but somebody needs to get over there and start cleaning up, bring the mop out, figure out what you need to do better. And like you said, where's the team fire? Where's the extra Lancer into the angle? One of the places that I'll be able to find that out is right here, right now in this next round. What Marz needs to do better in this next matchup, in this next few moments. When you find somebody in a fight, do what you did on Vasgar. Find the way to help your teammate out, whether it be getting 1 or 2 bullets onto him, maybe even get the snub out. I need to see a lot more help from the side of Marz if they want to make this look better and cleaner and try to have a better shot going into that grand finals. All 3 of them stuck on the winch, though, right now.
Yeah, I was surprised they're actually breaking out of this. I felt that was a great opportunity for Carnage Gaming, but looks like that's fallen to the wayside. Solar trying to maintain his life. He's getting pressured hard. 1v2. I mean, he was stuck in that spot anyways. I mean, kind of rolling out, just trying to get away. I think he knew he was kind of done for in that situation. Cristalize also falls. Looking at the domination, and yeah, it's going to happen. Autens can't get that touch. Much better fight. Carnage Gaming, I felt, had a very good opportunity there with those 3 players, from Marz kind of being trapped down there on winch. Probably could have played that a lot better, but I don't know. I mean, do you think Carnage Gaming could have capitalized in that moment with those 3 players stuck?
It's hard because what you're not sure of is as you pressure up, push up down that hallway, you know you're going to get back aid for a moment. And with the 3rd person play in the middle of the winch, he can actually pull a Lancer and have a pretty safe and secure spot to look left or right to help Lancer out. So really all you can do is kind of leave them there. Maybe go home to home, maybe pressure up on your opponent's home to try to force them out of that position. You can't leave them there. Yeah, you can get around the map, but you can easily Lancer out and get pressure onto your opponent. So I don't know if you take take the CQC fight. You just have to draw them away from it.
And that's good insight, right? Because me just looking at it, I'm like, why did Carnage Gaming not, get more aggressive, if you will? But like you said, there's many factors to that engagement. I like this, though. Morality has taken a much more unique angle than we've seen him do. He's not just going to lance her out up top. He wants to take the fight and kind of pincer in Solar. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out, but a great opportunity missed on his part. BGod, though, big fight against Rocky. Rocky's going to get finished off. That's 3 down. Great start for Carnage Gaming, and maybe a real chance to take a round finally.
Zoom is going to have a few more shots in that Boltok. He's trying to pressure that player there at the B hill. That's going to be Autens. Meanwhile, all of Carnage Gaming slows up. They did not go for the retake. They're going to be happy with 2-to-1 hills. They're going to try to force Marz into a bad position late into this round. And right now, they're doing a pretty fantastic job of it. They haven't given up any real estate. You see player number 9, though, actually pressuring up. He's going to try to test the waters here. He's got a teammate, though. I believe it's going to be Solars and BGod are going to be testing the waters on the triple cap domination, but it's like they're going to back off for a moment, make sure that they don't lose B.
Okay. Look at Zoom, and we didn't catch that fight, but Zoom 1v2 handles his business. He did have help from Morality from behind, but for the most part, Zoom was up close. Great work on him to take over the neutral, but BGod will answer in his own way by taking down Rocky and pushing through onto A. So now he's going to be in that 1v1 against Abolics down low. Tries to push him. It doesn't happen. That's the Lancer fire we needed to see. Dakota doesn't make his life hard by trying to go in that Nasher battle. He just easily Lancers him down, takes him out, lets him bleed out, and then, of course, lets Rocky take over Alpha. Very well done.
You see the 2-to-1 hill advantage in favor of Marz. They're going to be able to come back into this in the next 10-15 seconds, and right now they are just stacked up. I mean, they are waiting for the push from Carnage. Carnage is going to have the utilities, smokes out across the middle of the map, trying to Lancer out on BGod, make sure they keep the marks on him, not give him any place to go. Already into the B hill is Solar. Autens there as well. Damage onto him. He's going to have to rotate over. BGod's gone on a massive flank, though. Gets one. BGod pressuring up on a Zoom. He's going to get taken down, and all the downs come through. All Zoom has to do is clean people up, and he leaves 2 of them alive, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to come back to bite you in the butt very quickly. 3 players alive at B. Oh, goodness gracious. Good God almighty. That's not what I wanted to see.
Morality just about picks up where Zoom left off. Look, like you said, Zoom should have got those finishes. He threw his chips, though, into the pot. He went all in. If he takes down Cristalize, he wraps up 3 players, but instead, he only ended up getting 1. Unfortunately, a missed opportunity, but Zoom, he committed, he tried it, just didn't work out. Carnage Gaming very close to victory, but Marz fighting back. This is going to be a big round for Marz to take. Look, they'll be up 4-0, and as they do lock in B, I think that's going to be it. 2 players down. BGod and Cristalize gone, and man, Autens, he's sprinting as fast as he can to get over to A, but Abolics makes a break on Charlie. Wrap it up. Marz, they're taking this round.
Marz will take a 4-0 advantage going into the second half. They are 1 round away from heading off into our grand finals for the week. And I mean, they are looking stout right now. They are looking fantastic, looking like your prom date. I mean, they are looking as hot to trot as it can get.
Hot to trot. I like that. Okay. 4-0. Where's our power weapons? For sure we see one at this point. Not from, of course, Abolics. He's not going to place that down, but we for sure probably see something over at Stern. Carnage Gaming is going to feel a lot more at home, I think, fighting for that single fight. And no, we're not going to see it. Any reason why we don't? Does it benefit Carnage Gaming to not place anything on E? I think they would be happy with the kind of straight up fight.
I think, I don't know how to put this. I think with the way that the initials have gone, they're almost afraid to put out a power weapon, because right now they're down 4-0 and almost every initial has gone the side of Marz. You don't want to basically give up a free power weapon.
You said case in point right there. Flawless start for Marz. They're breaking off. They're splitting up. They're heading for all the hills. BGod, he's just going to try and make a move. Good Lancer fire, though, from Zoom. He'll let him bleed out. And it looks like Marz is, in fact, going to take over Delta. And I think that's going to be a 5-0 victory. And yes, it will. BGod leaves the game. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. A flawless victory, 5-0. And I'm going to say it, man. Congratulations for Marz taking that victory. Final map. They now secure their spot in grand finals. First time now playing, at least whenever it comes down to the Gears Challenges series, but by no means, do I take that 5-0 and say, man, they're really strong in Harbor. There's a lot of weak moments for Marz there that, if they do play against Double R, despite Double R losing earlier on Harbor, I still think they win the Harbor matchup versus Marz. I really do. There's a lot of work still need to be done there and a lot of cleaning up still to be had.
Well, look, Marz showed me a lot of what they're made of. They were fantastic in that third and final map with a lot of things that, even though they had to clean up in rounds 2 and 3, they did a fantastic job of that in 4 and 5. We are in the replays, and you're going to be able to see a couple of shots out. Players from Marz making different angles. There's the big mistake that we saw earlier in the round where it almost flipped back and came back to bite them in the butt, but ends up they come out on top. One of the things that I will say for Marz going into this grand finals, they are right now popping off on all 4 cylinders, which is a good look for them. All 4 players are having their moments. Like you said it after map number 1, we've been able to highlight all 4 players at some time or another in this matchup. So even though District wasn't necessarily a strong showing for them, they still get 3 rounds against Carnage. I'm going to be curious to see how this pick and bans comes out for our grand finals. I want to see if Harbor kind of comes off the board early.
I am curious. Yeah. Again, it's not necessarily, you look at the 5-0. I don't think Carnage Gaming played that map well at all. I really don't. Going against RR, again, it's still not a guarantee for the team of Marz for them to take that victory. Again, I tip my hat to RR. I think they would absolutely win that Harbor matchup. So I think, like you said, it's probably going to be taken off early. Do we see Vasgar, though? It's an interesting one. I think we probably do see Vasgar, maybe a District thrown into the mix. Third map, you take your pick. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but it is going to be a fun grand finals, without question. Marz, though, I will say, versus Carnage Gaming, it was a tough team. Like, even though they beat them and Carnage Gaming, was caught lacking in several areas, it's still a tough team. A lot of veterans on that roster. So for me, Marz looks strong. They really do. Couple of weak points being nitpicky, but they look very strong. And RR didn't necessarily, 5-1, 5-1 on Asylum and Foundation, but there was a couple of weak points as well, versus Papa Chalky Milk. So going into it, I think there's weak points on both rosters, both ends. That makes the finals that much more interesting. It's really a toss-up to who takes it.
It is definitely a toss-up. Coin flips abroad. I didn't bring a silver dollar with me, so I guess we're going to have the teams roll out a spawn to tell us who's going to actually win those fights.